The championship season hasn't even started and it's all going wrong for Lincoln City. Title winning manager Michael Skubala has jumped ship to Bristol City. Star player Jack Moylan has left the club and joined Cardiff City, making Lincoln City the odds-on favourites to be relegated back to League One. For a club who are nearly 30 games unbeaten and haven't lost a competitive game in 2026, this is absolutely crazy. And with a vacant managerial spot at the Imps, we are taking charge with the ultimate end goal of winning them a Champions League trophy. But this rebuild won't be so simple. We have to make only realistic signings in this rebuild, but thankfully Lincoln have been making some pretty big bids in real life, so hopefully we can make some really exciting signings on our way to winning the Champions League trophy. So as we enter FC26, we are fresh off the back of winning the Sky Bet League One title with 103 points. Only 5 games lost all season, a very impressive season for the Imps in the 25-26. We'll be joined by Cardiff and my beloved Bolton Wanderers in the Championship, but the team we are taking into the Championship at the minute is destined for relegation. In FC26 anyway, we are going to need signings all across the board if we're going to stay up this season, as the highest rated player at the club is currently Sonny Bradley, who's 34 years of age. However, he is a very good centre-back in real life. The second best player at the club, Adam Reach, 33-year-old, and this is a bit of a common theme because the third best player at the club is a right-back, Tendaye Darikwa. Former Wigan mon, might have to release him. He's also 34-year-old. McGrandle's 30, Rico Hackett 28. James Collins, the highest rated striker, is 35. While Lincoln don't have many players who are over 30 at the club, pretty much every player who's over 30 is a key starting player for the club. However, Lincoln have been pretty busy in the transfer window. Did lose their star player Jack Moylan, who's joined Cardiff City for a club record fee. They've made 2 permanent signings. Callum Elders joined on a free from Derby, and they've signed a relatively unknown centre-back, Andrei Kubis. Definitely just mispronounced his name. And 3 loan players have joined the club: Joe Gaucher from Aston Villa, Mason Melia from Tottenham Hotspur, and Tanto Olafe from Charlton Athletic. So we're going to have our hands full in the first transfer window, bringing all 5 of these players to the club. And we're already off to a great start because Mason Melia is not even in FC26. But if we look to the players that Lincoln have signed in real life, other than Andrei Kubis, none of these players really look like Championship standard players, especially given Callum Elders, 31-year-old, and will start to decrease in overall. His stats are very uninspiring. We're definitely going to have our work cut out with this rebuild. We're not going to have it plain sailing, and relegation to League One in the first season very likely, because Lincoln only start off with £2 million. However, we're not yet in a fresh new season, and I am actually going to use this money to sign some of the players Lincoln have signed in real life. So the youth academy might play a big role in this rebuild. I need your comments in the comment section down below for future videos. Where should I scout? Where should I send our scouts? And you know what? Lincoln have got a very good academy. Harvey Dodd, Jonathan Stevenson, Wakar Aziz, and Samar Saeed have all got really good potential. We're going to loan out Jonathan Stevenson, Aziz, and Saeed in season 1. Really excited to see Stevenson in particular. He looks like he could be a superstar. So we have switched up the formation, and we're going to go with a 4-4-2 holding to give our defence a bit of a screen. When it comes to tactics, we're going to have to play counter-attacking football. I don't really want to, but with the players we've got, we're going to really struggle to break teams down. That's why we're going with a very deep defensive line of 25, and with 2 CDMs, we're going to try and concede as little as possible. These are the player roles we're going to go for. Rico Hackett joining the attack as an inside forward, Rob Street playing as a target forward, a deep line playmaker and a holding midfielder. We're going to use Darikwa as an inverted wing back, and Hamer will be a wide back to cover his position. This is pretty much the best we can do with our current personnel. I really don't like to start a rebuild off being super negative, but even with signings, I just don't see how we keep this team up. And speaking of transfers, we can only actually sign Callum Elder at the minute because Kubis, Gaucher, and Olafe are all out on loan, and it looks like Callum Elder is not willing to relocate. Maybe I should have done the up-to-date transfers outside of career mode. So we have now officially arrived in season number 1, and I know it's all been a little bit negative at the minute. We've actually got £6 million in the bank, which is a very competitive transfer budget. But unfortunately, before we can put our own stamp on the team, there's 4 players we have to sign. Thankfully, Callum Elder is a free agent. Let's get these 4 players signed, see how they improve our team, then we'll try and put a stamp on the rest of the squad. So business complete. We've managed to bring all Lincoln signings to the club, minus Mason Melia. We did manage to loan Joe Gaucher. I have actually stuck a £1 million optional buyout in this loan, just in case it goes well. We couldn't loan Isaac Olafe, so I just paid 900 grand for him. On paper, 90 pace, could be a useful player in the Championship. And we've ended up paying 3.3 million for Andrei Kubis, but he actually looks really good. I want you to have a guess how much money you think's remaining in our bank account. Zilch. Nada. Zero. Not even a penny. Not even 1 pence sits in our bank account. We're getting relegated, which ultimately means this is going to be the Lincoln team that takes us into the Championship. It's just a League One team on paper, isn't it? Everything about this team is just League One. Everything about this bench is League One. Could maybe trim the squad down a bit and see how much we could raise. Might be able to make one loan signing or something like that. Right, so I've managed to move some rotation players on. As you can see, the likes of Jamie Pardington, Ben House, Adam Jackson, Zach Geacock, JJ McKeon all leave the club. Phenomenal fees really, but it does add up. Jonathan Stevenson's gone out on a 2-year loan. Looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Really need him to come back, hitting the ground running. We need him in the team. But thankfully, we've now got £2 million in the bank, which could help us sign 1 or 2 players on loan, which could give us a chance of staying in the Championship. However unlikely that sounds, I know it's going to be a really big ask this season to stay in the division. We are going to have a look to see if any decent players have been listed for loan who we can bring to the club. One player who Lincoln could definitely sign in real life is Emilio Lawrence, who was on loan at Luton Town last season. A 20-year-old, decent wages, small transfer fee, 66 rated, can play on both wings. He could be a very useful pickup for the club. We're going to try and loan him in with an optional future fee. So deal agreed, Emilio Lawrence is joining us on a 2-season loan with an optional future fee of £2 million. And we've completed our second loan signing of the season. Leo Hijelde has joined us from Sunderland, who I think has actually left the Black Cats in real life. 68 rated 22-year-old left back who can also play centre back. We're probably going to position change him, work on his weak foot and play him as a right back because we don't have a solid one at the club. And I think this is definitely a signing Lincoln City could make. And we've agreed our third and final loan to buy of season number 1. Former Huddersfield Town centre back Josh Feeney is joining us from Aston Villa on a 1-season loan, who's 21-year-old, 6'4" and 67 rated. All 3 of our new loan signings do have buy options. They all good enough to keep us in the Championship though. I'm really not too sure. I mean, with our new signings added to the starting 11, we have managed to slightly improve the team and slightly improve the bench. I just think though, lads, come the end of season 1, we are going to be stirring League One right in the face. So we have arrived at the end of season number 1. As we can see, we have seen some pretty decent growth from the team. A few players above 70 rated. But has this growth been enough to keep us a Championship side, or are we playing League One football in season 2? Well, before we find out, we've got a little bit of transfer news to bring your way. We had our first major bid come in of the rebuild, and it was from Premier League side Coventry City. They bid 1.3 million for goalkeeper George Wickens. No way he would turn that deal down, so we had to accept it. And we also will be losing Adam Reach and Tendayi Darikwa. And looking at our stats, the only players who really contributed this season were Alafe and Draper, who scored literally all of our goals. We looked to our clean sheets, we only kept 9 all season. I think if the stats are anything to go by, we could be in trouble. Well, scratch that, boys. We finished 19th in the Championship on 46 points. We finished 4 points clear of Derby County, who go down with Blackburn Rovers and Bolton. Obviously, Bolton go down. That better not happen in real life. We are going to be playing Championship football once again in season 2. But it's absolutely imperative we improve the team. And the FA Cup would lose at home 2-1 to West Ham in the 3rd round. That is a very difficult tie, to be fair. And rounding off season number 1, we lost in the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup to Leicester City, who beat us 2-1. So that's Championship survival secured, and you can secure yourself as a part of this channel by liking the video, subscribing to the channel and hyping the video. It really does help me out. We're trying to get to 11,000 subscribers. The support never goes unnoticed on the channel, especially everyone who comments on every video. But now in season 2 though, we've only got £5 million in the bank. We have had a small budget reduction. We're going to have to really look at some free agent signings in this transfer window, get some youth scouting done as well. And we have got a decision to make on our 3 loan signings: Joe Gaucher, Leo Hijelde and Josh Feeney. What I'm going to do before I sign any of these 3 permanently is look at the free agents list, look at the loan list. Is there anyone we can bring in who's better? Given the fact we're now an established Championship side, I think we can sign a better profile of player. But before we get on to signing players, we sent 2 youngsters out on loan last season. Jonathan Stevenson has grown to 67 rated at 18-year-old. He is probably a Championship standard player. And Wakar Aziz has come back from his loan at 19-year-old and 69 rated. And you know what? I'm thinking I'm going to switch up how I line up the team. We went very defensive last season and still conceded 88 goals. It's just not the way to go. We're actually going to switch things up. We're going to go with a 4-3-3 holding formation, still giving a screen to our defence, but not going ultra defensive and ultimately conceding 88 goals. This allows us to get Aziz into the team and Stevenson, who are both looking amazing. So we won't be signing Josh Feeney this season. We've just agreed a loan with Brentford to sign Benjamin Arthur on a season-long loan, paying 55% of his wages wages with an optional future fee of 2.5 million. He's just signed for Portsmouth in real life. I think we could definitely get this signing over the line. And we've completed our second signing of season number 2. It's a free agent central midfielder who definitely improves our team. We've signed Guinean central midfielder Sheikh Conde on a 4-year deal. The former FC Zurich and Venezia man adds a wealth of experience to our midfield. Now, personally, I'd love to make Joe Gauch's loan into a permanent deal, but he's taking home 16 grand a week at Aston Villa. He's probably going to want a pay rise, and we'd have to pay 1.2 million for him. I feel like this money could be better used in another area. So we've brought in former Le Havre and FC Charleroi goalkeeper Mohamed Cornet, who signs a 4-year contract. Cornet signs from the free agents list, and he is 71 rated and on less than half of Joe Gauch's wages. So we're not going to be signing Leo Hijelde in this transfer window, as we've agreed a loan with Everton for Roman Dixon, 1-year loan, substantially less wages, of which we're going to pay 60%, and there's a future transfer fee agreed of 1.6 million. Dixon at 22-year-old and 68 rated, no chance of playing for Everton. Really good chance for him to establish his career in the Championship. Rounding off our season 2 transfer window, an exciting left back is joining the club from the MLS, as Luca Bombino joins us from San Diego FC, and he has signed for us for £2 million. So it's a complete new look for Lincoln City in season 2. This is the team we're taking into the Championship. Definitely looking a lot more solid than the team we started with 12 months ago. Now, before we progress any further, we're going to do some youth scouting. Let me know in the comment section down below, where would you like to see me send a youth scout in an upcoming video? Well, for this season, we are going to be scouting in England, our home country, and we're looking for goalkeepers. But have we done the right transfer business to push Lincoln City up the table, or will we be stirring at yet another relegation battle? But we have arrived at the end of season number 2, and after improving our team, we're now looking at a very strong Lincoln City side on paper. The growth has been astounding this season. We look like an established Championship team on paper, and going off the morale across the entire squad, I think it's safe to say we've been nowhere near the relegation zone this season. But there's still going to be some challenges at the end of the season. Roman Dixon, Benjamin Arthur and Emilio Lawrence's loans are all expiring. These are 3 key first team players, and if we don't get a good transfer budget, we won't be able to sign all 3, and I would very much like to make all 3 signings permanent. Looking to the stats, we've been really impressive this season. Isaac Olafe has been our best player for 2 seasons in a row, but I'm really impressed with Jonathan Stevenson. The young lad got 22 goals and 3 assists. Really good debut season for him, and Aziz as well. I think we've been very strong this season. And strong we've been. We've finished in the top half on 46 points, scoring 73 goals as well. 62 points accumulated, 13 points off the playoffs. Improvement, and I'll definitely take it. Can we push for the playoffs in season 3? Who knows? And we actually made the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, but we got battered at home 5-2 by Crystal Palace. Really impressive showing in the FA Cup. This was followed by a really poor showing in the Carabao Cup. We lost to League One Reading away 2-1. But we've arrived in season 3, and we need a good transfer budget. We've got loans to make permanent. We've only got £6 million. Oh, you know what? This might not be good. Looking at the wages of Lawrence, Arthur and Dixon, given the transfer fees as well, I don't think we can afford to sign all 3. One player we're definitely signing is Emilio Lawrence. The guy is an absolute baller. He's going to cost us 2.4 million. He's the most expensive of the 3, but he is probably the most important player at the club at the minute. He is on 70 grand a week at Manchester City. Well, I'll try and sign him, but yeah, we can't sign Lawrence. He's on 70 grand a week. Emilio Lawrence will not be joining us on a permanent deal. I think the next player I'd want to try and sign is Benjamin Arthur. He's going to cost us 2.5 million if he's out on like 70 grand a week as well. But Benjamin Arthur's on 33 grand a week. We're an established Championship side. I think we'll be able to get this deal over the line. And we can't sign Benjamin Arthur either. He wants massive wages, lads. No way is Roman Dixon going to make it free for free. 1.65 million to sign him, but can we afford Roman Dixon's wages? This transfer window has been a disaster so far. He's only on 21 grand a week. We should definitely be able to sign Roman Dixon. I'll be very surprised if we can't sign him. Thankfully, we've managed to sign Roman Dixon. It's not a complete disaster. He grew by 5 overalls last season, but Emilio Lawrence and Benjamin Arthur will not be joining Lincoln City next season. This is a sight I'm very happy to see. Roman Dixon will spend the next 5 seasons with Lincoln City, but we have got off to such a poor start in this transfer window. And we have now only got a transfer budget of 3.5 million. We're going to have to replace Lawrence and Arthur in the first team. So it's back to the drawing board. We don't have loads of money. We're probably going to have to rely on frees and loans again. Hopefully we can build a squad that was as competitive competitive as it was last season. So Lawrence's replacement has been signed. A deal's been agreed to sign Ben Broggio from Aston Villa on a 2-season loan with an optional future fee of 1.8 million and a 5% sell-on. He's 21-year-old, he's 70 rated, is quite a significant downgrade on Lawrence. But this deal saves us money, brings us a high potential youngster to the club and allows us to reinvest into the centre-back position. And turns out replacing Benjamin Arthur hasn't been that big of a problem, you know, as we've just signed a former Sunderland centre-back from the free agents list who's actually got really good potential. As we complete the signing of 6'4", 25-year-old centre-back Jensen Selt from Sunderland on a 5-year contract. Our new number 6 is very similar to Benjamin Arthur, only a few years older. So as things stand, this is how the team is looking, and I definitely think we still need 1 or 2 improvements. I think a new CDM to replace Verloffameve, because he hasn't really grown much in the past few seasons. Now with a transfer budget of just £2 million, we may have to try and loan someone. It might be another free agent signing. We are really struggling to bring players to the club. Well lads, we have managed to make an insane CDM signing. We are bringing in James McConnell from Liverpool on a season-long loan. 23-year-old, 74 rated. Stats aren't anything special, but is a big upgrade to our midfield. We do have an optional future fee. It's £3.8 million. I think we would have to finish in and around the playoffs to be able to sign him permanently, and I think this deal will round off a very good transfer window. All things considered, we now just have to keep hold of our star players. I've already seen George Wickens go to Coventry. I don't want to lose another key player. Now thankfully the squad is staying together, and this is the team we're going to take into season 3. Now we are definitely going to miss Lawrence. Aziz moves out to the right with Broggio coming out to the left. Still a strong team on paper, still expecting to see some good player growth this season, but we have been showing progression with Lincoln season on season. Can we progress one step further to the playoffs in season 3? So we have arrived at the end of season 3. Our team is looking very strong on paper. We've got a few players who are close to 80 rated. There's definitely a few positions we need to improve, like centre back and centre midfield, and maybe a new striker to replace Tanto. But as of right now, things are looking good for the Imps. How have we got on in the competitions? Well, if we look at our stats, Olafe was fantastic again, getting 27 goals and 5 assists. It's just a shame that at 29-year-old he's not going to get much better. Aziz, Stevenson and Conde all had brilliant seasons as well. Unfortunately, Ben Broggio wasn't really the best, only going by 3 overalls, and he didn't really have much impact on the pitch. James McConnell, on the other hand, looking like a really solid player. If we don't go up this season though, I don't see us being able to afford him. We are losing 3 first-team players at the end of the season. Conor McGrandles, Tom Hamer and Callum Elder all will not be getting their contracts renewed. They're not really good enough, and we're also losing James McConnell if we've not been promoted, as he's on 47 grand a week. We can't afford that. But unfortunately, we finished 7th in the league, 1 point outside of the playoffs, where Hull, Southampton, Sheffield United and Leeds will battle it out, with Sunderland and Norwich gaining promotion, and it's the Championship again in season 4, which means it's unlikely we can make James McConnell into a permanent signing. Our performance in the FA Cup was decent though. We made the 5th round and we lost to Bournemouth on penalties. Can't say the same for the Carabao though. We got bounced in the 3rd round by Brighton, and we did have one sale off camera. Rico Hackett joined Derby for 1.1 million. His contract were expiring, he won't accept a new one, so we cashed in on him and brought some funds into the club. But we have now arrived in season 4, and promotion to the Premier League is our main goal this season, and for us to achieve that we're going to have to make some improvements to the starting 11. But we only have £7 million in our bank account, so we're unfortunately going to be losing one of our best players, James McConnell. He's on nearly 50 grand a week at Liverpool. The buy option is only 3.75 million, but we just can't afford his wages. So once again we're back to the drawing board when it comes to bringing a CDM to the club. I did have a youngster out on loan. I just want to check if he's grown at all. No. Harvey Dodd's come back from his loan at 65 rated. He isn't really good enough to help push us towards the Premier League. We are going to have to sign a new CDM. Because we're getting such low budgets every season, we're struggling to build a settled squad, which is definitely hampering our promotion pushes. Now, we've just pulled off a signing in the CDM position, which definitely could be seen as unrealistic. A free agent CDM who's helped someone get promoted to the Premier League before, and he's an international player. As we've completed the signing of Jens Kajuste, released by Ipswich, and he has signed for us on a 4-year deal. The Swede helped Ipswich to a 2nd place finish in the 25-26 season, joining us at 77 rated at 29-year-old on significantly less wages than McConnell. He could play a vital role in helping us get to the Premier League. Now, our second signing is another free agent, and it's another signing which definitely comes with a bit of risk. We've brought in a centre-back just been released from the Turkish Super League side Konyaspor, who hasn't played hardly any football since 2024. As we've completed the signing of Burkina Faso international centre-back Adamo Nagalo, who joins us on a 4-year contract. He's only played 17 competitive games since 2024, and he needs to hold down a permanent position at a club. Lincoln City are going to offer him that. And we have made what's likely to be our final signing of season number 4. We've brought a new central midfielder to the club, and it's a signing that I'm really excited about. As we've completed the signing of Jake Richards from League One Luton Town, and we've paid 3.2 million to sign him. A very promising young left-footed central midfielder who's very forward-thinking, and I think our team going into season number 4 is very strong on paper, starting to build what looks to be a Premier League quality team. No doubt we're going to see a lot of player growth, and Stevenson at 80 rated and 20-year-old. So we have still got 2 million in the bank. There's a long time to go in the transfer window. I'm going to keep the money to one side. I would like to do some scouting. I've not had the funds to do any scouting really, and we've got contracts to renew. So we've managed to keep our squad together heading into season 4. Do we have enough firepower to get promotion to the Premier League though? Certainly hope so, because that's our goal for season number 4. So we have arrived at the end of season number 4, and the team is looking amazing on paper. Stevenson going to 86 rated. He's a top-end Premier League level player, and we may struggle to keep him in the off-season. Aziz has grown to 83 rated, and Bombino at 82 rated. This team is definitely Premier League standard. All that matters for season 4 is Premier League promotion. However, is that something we've actually achieved? Well, the stats are looking good. Stevenson was our best player, getting 19 goals and 10 assists. Broggio and Aziz had really good seasons as well, but Tanto Walafe definitely falling off in terms of goal contributions. He might need to be replaced in season 5. And our league performance was very good. We finished 3rd in the championship. We are in the playoffs. We were 3 points away from Leeds, who got automatic promotion with Sheffield United. We entered the playoffs with Coventry, Wolves and Ipswich, 3 former Premier League sides. We only lost 5 games all season. Will this be enough to see us promoted to the Premier League? Well, in the semi-final, we scraped past Ipswich 4-3 over 2 legs, whereas Coventry lose to Wolves. Wolves versus Lincoln at Wembley is the final. And oh my god, we batter them 5-1 in the final to secure Premier League promotion. But we need to bring the right players in, otherwise we're going straight back down. Now, we also had a very good run in the FA Cup, reaching the quarterfinals where Leeds beat us 2-1. But the competition we're being very poor in is the Carabao Cup. We lost to Barnsley in the first round, who beat us 2-1. So we have now arrived in season 5, and we are now a Premier League side. We've got 43 million in the bank, which is not a good budget. Now, we're going to be shopping in the bargain bin in this transfer window, and we have got Ben Broggio in on loan from Aston Villa, who is definitely a Premier League standard player. We can buy him for just 1.8 million. This is going to save us so much money. We're definitely activating the buyout clause. And Broggio signs for the club on a 5-year contract. A great use of 1.8 million, I can't lie. Now, as we look to our starting 11, I definitely think we need a new striker to replace Tanto Walafe. He only scored 9 goals last season, and a new starting striker will definitely help us stay in the Premier League. Now, the rest of the team isn't looking too bad, you know. I may look to bring a better starting goalkeeper in than Cornet, who's only 78 rated. He can drop down to the bench. We have got quite a few youngsters I need to send out on loan as well. So a striker and goalkeeper are what we're going to prioritise. And we have found an absolute diamond of a striker hiding away in the Championship for Birmingham City. I can't believe they didn't get into the playoffs with this guy in the team. As August Prisket is our new number 11, joining us for £21 million. The 26-year-old is 6'5" and 81 rated, and I'm not gonna lie, lads, he is getting the number 9 shirt from Ben Broggio. And we're probably gonna have to sign the new centre-back in this transfer window too. Established Premier League club Aston Villa have come in with a bid for Jensen Sell. We're gonna negotiate, we're gonna try and get a bit more money, but there's no way I can turn this deal down for him. It's a great move for the player. I'll be happy with £22 million if Aston Villa can cough that up, which they will, and it looks like Jensen Sell will be joining Aston Villa. And another player who looks to be leaving the club, Mohamed Kone. A bid's come in from PSV, who are a Champions League club. We're going to negotiate, try and get a better deal, but it looks like we're losing our first choice keeper as well. For a 28-year-old, 78 rated player, I will take £15 million, and PSV will match it, so we're going to be losing Kone as well. Imperative we make a good signing now in the centre-back and goalkeeper position. So when it comes to signing a new first choice centre-back, we've gone and picked up one of Europe's brightest young talents who's joined us from Heidenheim in the Bundesliga too. As we've completed the signing of Aaron Bowman, and he's joined us for just £14.5 million, leaving us with £31 million to bring a new first choice keeper to the club. We have to nail this signing because this could be the difference between going down and staying up. So Bowman's in, now it's time to sign the new number 1, and we've actually managed to find a hidden gem in the Eredivisie, as Bernd Klaverboer will be our new number 1, and he's signed for just £19 million. Sparta Rotterdam losing a very strong goalkeeper there, and he's only 24 years old. Now, I do like how our team is looking on paper. If we can keep hold of the likes of Aziz, Stevenson and Bombino, we should be good to stay up, especially by adding Priske, Bowman and Claverboer to our team. 3 players who can develop loads as well. I just think though, looking at our bench, we could definitely do with some reinforcements. Now, we've only got £11 million in the bank. That's never going to sign anyone in the Premier League. Unless you look for transfer listed players, we might find a gem on there. And we've just found Daniel Gore on the transfer list, who looks like a very tidy player who we can get a very good deal on. And we've completed the signing of Daniel Gore for just £4 million. A very, very good deal. Rounding off our transfer business for season number 5. Have we done enough to stay in the Premier League? Only time will tell. So that is season number 5 boxed off. Our first season as a Premier League club is finished, and our starting 11 is looking decent. Very good Premier League team on paper. Stevenson at 90 rated. This guy is an absolute menace. Aziz 86 rated. Tell you what, if we've gone down, we're not keeping these players. There's definitely positions we need to improve. A lot of players haven't really shown any growth, especially Claverboer did have a pretty serious injury this season. Have we done enough to remain in the Premier League though? I think things are looking good so far. As we look at the stats, Wakar Aziz was absolutely fantastic. 18 goals and 6 assists, our best player. Priske, Broggio and Stevenson had good seasons as well. I think going off the growth and the stats, I think we have stayed up. And we've actually had a very good season. We finished 15th in the Premier League on 43 points. Only losing 13 games, which is a big positive. We were nowhere near the relegation zone where Sheffield United, Leeds and Burnley go down with all under 30 points. We've got a very good platform to build off in season 6. We might start to struggle to keep hold of the likes of Aziz and Stevenson though. And once again we flirt with an FA Cup semi-final. We got to the quarter-finals, again losing to Liverpool 3-1, which was a very difficult draw. And looking at the teams remaining, we might have struggled to win it. And lads, I just want to get it out there, our performances in the Carabao Cup have been dog. We went out in the second round at home to Notts County, who are in League 2. So we are now in season number 6. We've only got £33 million in the bank, which is a very poor transfer budget. Now we have seen a lot of players leave the club. We've had a high turnover, especially in the last few seasons, and we are currently harbouring 2 world-class players, especially Jonathan Stevenson. I think Champions League clubs may come sniffing for Aziz and Stevenson this season, especially given the fact they were both good in the Premier League. We'll keep our eye out, see if any bids come in. I think the best business we can do in this transfer window is keeping our 2-star players. Now, looking at our starting 11, we definitely need some improvements. I'm looking in the CDM position for improvement, as Caillou Stay is 31-year-old and 79 rated, not really going to get much better. We're going to invest all of our budget into a new CDM, and we'll have to just keep an eye on incoming transfer offers. So as we know, Burnley were relegated to the Championship last season. We have raided them for their first choice CDM, who massively improves our midfield. Leslie Ogachukwu signs for the club for £25 million, adding some much needed steel to the centre of our midfield. Now, as things stand, we've only got £5 million in the bank, which could see our transfer business done. At least we've made a significant signing that massively improves our starting 11, just instantly making our midfield that little bit more balanced. And we've also raided the free agents list for a new rotation right winger. Yusufa Niang has joined us on a 4-year contract, and he adds some much needed competition to the squad. Manchester United have made a £174 million bid for Jonathan Stevenson. There's absolutely no way we can stand in the young man's way. I'm going to try and get £200 million for him, which we will reinvest into the team, don't worry about that. Will Manchester United give us the £200 million? They will only go to 174. I'm going to be very cheeky and ask for 175 million, and that will be the price to take Stevenson from Lincoln to Manchester United, a British transfer record, and that is a very significant amount of money. We can really ramp up this squad. Looking at our team, I'm going to bring a right back, centre back and central midfielder in with this money. I may even bring 2 central midfielders in. That should take us from a team battling relegation to maybe even trying to get into the Europa League or Conference League. And drama boys, Man City have come in with a £183 million bid, which we have accepted. It's the battle of the Manchester clubs. Who is going to get Stevenson? And Jonathan Stevenson chooses Manchester United. 175 million the transfer fee. The board have taken their cut, and we've got 159 million in the bank. So we have acted fast to bring in Stevenson's replacement, and I cannot believe the deal we have just got for an experienced Champions League player, as we've completed the signing of PSV midfielder Tygo Land for just £30 million. The 25-year-old is 83 rated and brings some much needed quality to our midfield. And we are adding yet more quality to our starting 11 in the central midfield position. We've raided Lyon for the star central midfielder. Noah Narty is swapping France for England, and we've signed him for £34 million. An absolutely excellent signing in my opinion. Now for our next signing, there's definitely an element of risk. We've signed a young, unproven centre-back from Newcastle United, not for his experience, but for his potential going forward. As we've completed the signing of Kasper Podolski for £22 million. 79 rated and 23-year-old, this is a risky signing, but he has got up to 86 potential. And rounding off our transfer window, a new right-back has been secured from the Bundesliga as Daniel Banjakui joins from Augsburg for £33 million. And with our transfer business completed, this is going to be the Lincoln team that takes us into season number 6. A very strong team on paper. So that's season 6 completed. Our starting 11 looking very strong. Aziz has reached 90 rated and his stats are absolutely insane. We've seen really good growth from the rest of the team, and hopefully this means we've had a successful season. But we are losing 2 players at the end of the season. Ivan Varvolomiev is leaving the club along with Deji Elouare, as we're not going to give them new deals. If we look to the stats, it was actually Ben Brogiol who was our best player this season, getting 17 goals and 8 assists. Aziz and Priske had good seasons as well. We haven't really banged the goals in like I'd like us to, so how have we got on in the Premier League? Well, we have actually finished 4th in the Premier League, securing Champions League football in season 7. We weren't the most exciting team, only 59 goals scored and 52 conceded, but we did enough to sneak into the Champions League places. Can you just imagine Lincoln in the Champions League? But it looks like our wait for a trophy is going to continue. We lost in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup once again, this time to Newcastle, and I'm beginning to think we're just cursed in the Carabao Cup. A 2-1 exit in the 3rd round to Burnley. How are we ever going to win a trophy in this rebuild? But we have now arrived in season 7. We're officially a Champions League club, and we've got a Champions League budget, £94 million. I'll certainly take that. But our defence and goalkeeper definitely needs improving. We've struggled with goalkeepers throughout this entire rebuild, so we're going to sign a world-class keeper with our money. And I would like to improve this bench a little bit. I think maybe a new backup striker, maybe a new backup winger, but the majority of our money will go on a new goalkeeper. And we have completed a huge signing in the goalkeeper position, raiding a fellow Premier League club, as we've completed the signing of Germany international Jonas Erbig from Crystal Palace for £38.5 million. And I mean, for £38.5 million, this is an incredible signing. And the Eredivisie has been a happy hunting ground for us so far in this rebuild. We've just brought in a new rotation left winger from that said league, as we've completed the signing of Englishman Adrian Blake for £18.5 million. At 79 rated and 26-year-old, he can definitely do a job for us in the Champions League. And rounding off our incomings is a new striker who's joined us from the Championship, as we've completed the signing of Mamadou Doumbia from Watford for £19.5 million. So we've definitely done some good business so far, but the best business we could do in this transfer window is definitely keeping hold of Wakar Aziz. And we have also finally got rid of some players. We've been hoarding players for far too long, mainly youth players who've gone out on loan. We have sold a few of them as well, like Lawton and Hutchinson, and our starting 11 is looking very promising going into the Champions League. We're definitely going to hold our own, and I really am happy with this bench as well. A lot of quality on here now, a few 80 rated players as well, which is always a big plus. You never know, we might surprise a few in the Champions League this season. So that's another season completed. Looking at our team, very strong on paper, definitely lacking a world-class centre-back however, which is where we could focus our money in season number 8. Well, looking at our stats, we've been very impressive in front of goal. Aziz, Priske, Land, Brogio, Nerte, all getting double figures. Land has been absolutely insane this season. It's looking good so far, lads. There are going to be some players released though. Angela Kubis, Isaac Alafe, Josh Honohan and Jens Kayuste all leaving the club. But those complacent faces in the team are definitely making me think we might have won a trophy this season. And that we have, lads. We have won the Premier League, finishing 2 points clear of Manchester City. Lincoln City are the champions of England, and our first trophy of the Lincoln City rebuild is only the Premier League. And we've very nearly added a second trophy. We got to the FA Cup final and got beat by Spurs on penalties of all teams. Spurs, are you joking? And the Carabao Cup curse continues. We lost in the 3rd round to Liverpool, who battered us 5-2. And interestingly, we weren't in the Champions League this season. We was actually in the Europa League, and we won it. We beat Stade Rennais 2-0 in the final, adding our second trophy of the rebuild, the Europa League. So a Premier League and a Europa League, I would call that a very successful season. So we have now arrived in season 8, and as the defending champions of England, we get 124 million, where the bulk of the money is going to go into signing a new world-class centre-back. Given the fact we are the Premier League champions and Europa League winners, I think we're going to struggle to make an unrealistic signing this season. So we wanted a world-class centre-back in this transfer window, and we've definitely managed to sign one from Ligue 1 who's still got a little bit of potential as well. JD Canvor is officially an imp, and he has joined us for £55 million. A fantastic young centre-back who could grow to 90 rated. Now, I also felt losing Jens Kajuste was quite a big loss to the squad. We've brought a new CDM in who was languishing in the Championship, who's actually a really good player. We've signed Lamar Borgard from Burnley, and he's joined us for £23 million. I've just noticed, lads, we've nicked 2 CDMs from Burnley so far in this rebuild. They must hate to see us coming. And we're also in negotiations to bring a new right winger to the club, Nicholas Wurmbrand, who's 82 rated and 27-year-old, currently playing for Norwich. We're going to submit our contract offer, which has been accepted. He is now officially a new Lincoln City player. Will play a big role from the bench this season. And we have actually seen some players leave the club in this transfer window. The likes of Yusufa Niang, Adamo Nagalo, who were first-team players, have been sold to Palace and Porto. We've sold 2 more academy players in Harley Sharp and Jacob Forrest. They just had no real chance of getting into the first team. And this season, we are in the UEFA Super Cup and the Community Shield. And we would smash Spurs 4-0 in the Community Shield, getting revenge for that FA Cup final. However, in the Super Cup, we did lose to Barcelona, who beat us 2-1 in a very close game, with Aziz getting on the score sheet for us. So the season is completed, and well, would you look at this. We are in the Champions League final. We're taking on Barcelona. It really doesn't get much harder than this in a Champions League final. In the league phase, we finished 5th, winning 6, losing 2. Barcelona, nowhere to be seen. Where did they finish? Wow, 16th. In the round of 16, we would batter Liverpool 5-1 over 2 legs, reaching the quarters, and we bounced Udinese 8-0 on aggregate. Semi-final versus Juventus, a lot closer. We win 2-0. Barcelona beat City 4-3. But remember, we were the champions of England, and we've gone back to back. We finished on 81 points, top of the league, retaining our Premier League crown. We were by far the best team in the Premier League this season, miles away from everyone else, even Fulham sneaking into the top 4. And we'd lose in the 3rd round of the FA Cup to Manchester City, who beat us 2-1 at home. And that'd be followed up by a quarter-final defeat to Fulham in the Carabao Cup. One thing's for sure in this rebuild, we have been very poor in the domestic cups. But we're taking an excellent team into the Champions League final, which is very well rounded. No one in the starting 11's below 86 rated, and everyone other than Canvor is above 87 rated. We had a great season in front of goal. Our front three, absolutely fantastic, and Nate had a really good season as well. Ogachukwu and Land getting double figures for assists, which we like to see. Now, when it comes to a Hall of Famer, we're going to give it to Stevenson, who we sold to Manchester United for a British record fee. He might not have statistically been our best player, but the money made from his sale helped us to progress the rebuild on by quite a lot. We'd still be fighting relegation if it wasn't for that money. So for that reason, he's the Hall of Famer, and all that remains to do is take on Barcelona in the Champions League final, and we make the Imps the champions of Europe. So we're taking a very well-rounded team into the Champions League final, and so are Barcelona by the looks of things. We've still got Lamine Yamal and Pedri, who are both incredible players. The rest of our team is significantly better than Barcelona's, so we probably go into this game with the stronger team. You can never write Barcelona off. This is going to be one very close game. Now, I don't know if you remember, but in the UEFA Super Cup at the start of the season, Barcelona did beat us in that game 2-1. But we've seen some pretty significant player growth since that game, and I'm hoping that's going to carry over into this final. No shots yet, lads. 20 minutes in. Been a very close game, to be honest. Oh, that's too easy. Skips past Bombino like he's not even there. Great tackle by Bowman. That could have been a goal. That's a nice play. Krupi could be in. Oh, and he wasn't even offside. First chance of the game. That really should have been a goal, I can't lie. Land. Great ball. Frisky. Roggio free header. It's 1-0 to Lincoln City. What a goal. Our first shot of the game on the stroke of half time. And that was an absolutely brilliant team goal. That is such a crucial time to score the first goal of the game. As we've seen, there's not been many chances in this game. Down the line. Chip it in. What a ball. Natty. Oh my God. That was the game. 55 on the clock to make it 2-0. That is a massive miss. Prisky. What a ball by Prisky. Broggio. Aziz is in. Good ball here. We've scored. Ball into Aziz. Touch. Finish. 2-0 to Lincoln City on the counter-attack. I'd like to think we've done enough there at 2-0. We've restricted Barcelona to minimal chances in this game. Chance, what a save by Herbig. That was a good chance, that, to be fair. Keeper's ball, what? Our keeper keeps coming for the cross and getting absolutely nowhere near the ball. Arojo off the line by Bombino. And there is the full-time whistle. Lincoln City are the champions of Europe. An outstanding second-half performance sees us beat Barcelona 2-0 with our wingers Broggio and Aziz stealing the show. And all that is now left to do is get our hands on the Champions League trophy. Lincoln City are the champions of Europe. That's another rebuild successfully boxed off. I'll see you in the next one when we rebuild a team from the smallest nation in Europe.